Nigga, I'm bye. That was it. That's it right there.
It's the X's and O's podcast, back with another episode where we don't claim to be experts, but feel like we got a little bit of experience with this thing called life. It's your boy Jeremy.
I'm Janae, and first and foremost, RIP and condolences to the families that of Takeoff and Amigos and
Big
all
facts.
of the three people that lost, that situation in Houston. And I guess we can get straight into that. Wow. Uh, it's been a lot of mixed comments, of course, typical when another rapper dies. You get mixed comments on why was he, why you in the blah blah blah, why was he in that crowd, why you by yourself, why blah blah, y'all not from there, the whole nine. My thing was the video. Um, Gilly the Kid addressed it a little bit on how, like, it's disrespectful to the family that the world got to see, you know what I mean, that person, their loved one in that situation. Some of them before they even found out, you know what I'm saying, and how that whole impact and stuff goes with just the new age of recording death, I guess. Is that where we're at the stage of recording death? You?
I mean, I just think it's one of those, as uncomfortable as it might seem and be, I just think everything gets recorded. Like, as, because some good things happen too. Because if certain things don't get recorded,
Then you don't.
there are certain instances we might not get justice because there was never
That's true.
video evidence of it.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
along with with everything's a double edged sword.
Absolutely.
Everything, that's the whole what law of polarity, duality. There's always going to be opposites, a good and a bad. So exactly like with the good comes the bad as well. And I think these are those incidences or instances, however I want to speak today, where it is uncomfortable. Everything getting recorded. Me personally, I don't have too strong of an opinion on it. Just because I think more or less I just understand that it's like, yo, this is what comes. Like, we're just so comfortable recording everything. Whenever something happens, I feel like it's that knee jerk reaction. You're filming and recording without even processing what's going
actually
on,
about to happen
because you
or
just
what's
feel,
going on.
yeah, you're not. Is it sensitive? Am I being insensitive? You're just recording just because you feel like you have to get it on.
Capture it, yeah. Just in case it may be. And is there a line between capturing it for clout and capturing it for actual concern? You know what I mean?
No, because you're capturing it. I don't want to get into it because sometimes you can be capturing it for clout, and out of the clout, justice can happen. Well, you were trying to seek clout by capturing it. You also you allowed justice to manifest. Again, this is totally off what
Took
happened,
place.
but I don't want to distinguish the intention behind it because at the end of the day, it's just getting recorded. That's the era we live in, good or bad. So
All right, well. On to the next subject at hand. Um,
parenting in regards to me and her were just trying to come up with a particular topic regarding parenting for this episode, and it was like, yo, something that I've noticed in particular is how my daughter tends to act when it's just me compared to when it's me and her around and when it's just her. And how much does a lack of male representation, because I'm the only male representative besides her uncle, but I'm the only male representative in her whole life. Like she has a bunch of other women that are involved in her life, you know, but
Mom's grandma.
but there is no grandpas. There is no other figures as far as males, and how much does that diminish fatherhood in general or my authority? Because she doesn't see, all she sees is women, and it's like, well, women trumps man every time. Because there is a stark difference with how she acts with just me. And again, we believe in the we don't lay hands on our child. We don't spank. You know what I mean? Um, if I unnecessarily raise my voice in a, I definitely apologize because again, I'm not just gonna yell at my daughter. You know what I mean? So there are instances you gotta throw a little bass in your voice, you know, so she get it. Because sometimes the mother has a weak, mean face, or you know how your mothers would have that serious face. They give you that look, and it's like, ooh, mama mean business. See how weak that is? Weak.
I don't even have a comment right now. I'm gonna stick to the subject at hand because he's about to get me off topic. You know what I'm saying? So keep going. Keep
No,
going.
but just know in all seriousness, we brought that up, and I do think that that has something to do with it, as far as because again, I can ask her to clean up. No, no attitude. It's not even like I ask in a particular way. It's like it's getting that time. It's getting late. Come on, let's start cleaning up, and no problems, nothing. Let her be around, or if she asks if I'm not around, it's a negotiation. 15 minutes.
How does he know if he's not
No.
around? What's going on? Did that make any sense? Did that make any sense just then? Did I comment on what happens when I'm not around? I didn't because I'm not around. How does he comment on what happens when he's not around? If he's not around.
The same way old buddy
Nope.
on Reasonable Doubt.
Oh,
He knows what's
wow.
going on when he's not around.
So you're a creep. That's the moral of the story. Ma'am, watch out, cause you see the creeps. Anyways,
She thought that teddy bear didn't have a camera in it.
okay. My take, absolutely, definitely, very valid point that he was making, cause I did like, of course we knew that he's the only male fig like, but really didn't sit back and think like, well, dang, she really, it's even when we go over my mom's house, she acts totally different. Like, Gigi Trump's mom. Mom, in her eyes, mom trumps dad, I guess. And then when dad's dad trumps everybody
And
else.
it's only dad, of course. But that's like, I'm like the five of hearts. You know what I mean? You're the queen of hearts, and then your mother's the fucking ace.
Why can't
Like,
you just be the
damn.
king of hearts then? Why, or the jack?
Cause ain't the king higher than the queen? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Okay, well, then be the jack. That's what I'm saying.
Oh wow.
All right.
You see, go ahead, dance for him. That's
Okay.
basically, that's what the jack is.
Okay. That's what's more. Yeah, okay. You're right. But no, until her stepdad comes in her picture, where she has a very like
Let's not.
focused picture.
She has a very focused picture, or you?
I think still when stepdad, of course, it's not gonna help that another female is gonna be. You know what I mean? I don't know how that's gonna work in that ordeal.
Yeah, like right, like yo.
We're gonna.
If I introduce, because that's one thing she's yet to meet any of our
Mm-hmm.
partners, because none of them have really gotten to the
Made
point,
that far.
made it that far yet. You
Well,
know.
she made one. She made one.
Oh, she did meet with.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Anyways,
I'm
so
over it.
so I
I don't
guess
even want to do this podcast no more.
she's met one, but nah, she really hasn't met. And like what she said, like that is an interesting like
That's
when
crazy.
when I introduce another female, not that she can't introduce another female, but
What the fuck? No. No, I can't.
but nah, I mean you can, but you won't.
Like you can introduce another male? You can, but you won't. Right.
She feeling some type of way. It's cool. I get it. Name dropped. It happened. My bad. Um,
This okay.
but I wonder how that's gonna happen. Like as far as will she respect the other woman more than me? Probably. Probably, because I think like all she knows is like yo, women, 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 man, women, 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 man, women,
When
women,
she
women.
warms up to it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just see how that is. Maybe Dad trumps because I don't think. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't think she's gonna be protective of Daddy.
I don't think so at all.
Like you know how some little girls are like
Yeah, no, I don't think
that doesn't want to see their dad close with
that's
another
not her.
female.
She doesn't care.
I don't think she's gonna care.
Now,
Unfortunately.
will she be a little cock blocker for me though?
Oh, now it's a cock
Absolutely.
blocker. She went from being a child to a cock blocker. Guess it both starts with a C, huh? Child, cock blocker. You see what's on her mind when she's around
I'm
another
just
man.
going. I'm just gonna go to the next subject because nothing. Anyways, entrepreneur. What were we talking about? Entrepreneurial.
What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? As far as
What's the difference between?
it's not even the difference. Just what does it mean to be an entrepreneur?
What's the definition of entrepreneurial?
You know,
And what's the difference? What does it mean to be an entrepreneur over just a small business owner? Shoot.
okay. I didn't write the rules for this,
He didn't write
but
it, but he's about to go freaking PhD professor on us.
no, but theoretically, they are two different things. I mean, dang, should I put the glasses on too? No.
No, but listen, theoretically. Go ahead.
Nah, but
Break it down.
two people open a laundromat, right? One person just opens a laundromat, like the same laundromat that's 10 minutes up the road, just trying to make it more convenient for those in his area. And that's all he does. Like he doesn't do nothing really different with the model. The only thing different is the name of the laundromat, maybe the color scheme or something like that. That would be considered a small business owner. To where an entrepreneur is someone who opens a laundromat, but changes the experience by which the customer has with getting their clothes done. Because maybe it's, oh, when your laundry's done in the dryer, we'll put it in your bin and in a cubby or something so that nobody messes with it. Again, I don't know. I'm just saying if they innovate the way they go about doing the process or the service or the product, whatever they're providing, that's when it becomes more of an entrepreneur because you're not following the same base model, but you're doing something different. There's risk involved. And I mean, I have a very, very, very different outlook when it comes to this because I'm big on the whole Jay-Z comment. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. So looking at who you are conducting yourself as a business, I do consider anybody could be an entrepreneur, even if you're still within the workforce. If you're going about your job in a different way than everybody else in your company, if your other coworkers, if you're doing things differently, if what you're providing, because yes, it's still you're still getting paid for your time, but how you're executing your energy and time is different. You're an entrepreneur in that regard because again, we're all businesses. But if you're doing the same old like everyone else, fuck out the way.
I guess it's time for my 2 cents.
You can keep one of them. You don't need
No,
both.
shut up. As we were kind of talking about this before we started the podcast, and I was kind of saying, like, well, it's a lot of different. I brought up artists. Of course I did. Why would I not? Like, art isn't really like you're either going to put paint on a canvas or some type of structure that paint can go on, or either you're going to be you write music for something, you sing, you play the drums, you as a music, like, are they all small business owners? Are they not entrepreneurs as well? Um, was my only rebuttal. And then I just thought about it while he was saying it. Well, what if, say, a small business like a sneaker shop is doing innovation, but it's still like now the experience in the sneaker shop is different. You dig what I'm saying? And it's not every experience is unique. It's not just the same finish line for like a DTLR or depending on where you're at, if you know what that is. So with those small business, now I consider those entrepreneurs by the experience that they're giving is different, but in technicality, they're small businesses.
No, that would be considered entrepreneur. I told you, both a business is involved with both. A small business owner and entrepreneur both own a business. It's how they go about that business. Because, like you said, they're providing a new experience, a totally different experience. So, by providing something new, by introducing innovation into the
But
business model,
it's not a new experience. It's just a different experience from this sneaker shop or this boutique. It's just different. It's nothing new you can really get from selling shoes and clothes. It's just a different experience from that one. That's what I
again, I'm not about to be the judge and jury on this. Like I can't.
mean. It's
It's
just
a lot of it's semantic. A lot of it's
food
like
for thought one.
yeah, it's like your opinion on it. Like just I know how they like to try to classify it
Exactly.
is the because like I would still like as she got done saying like I still think that's an entrepreneur not a small business just because again the way they're going about selling their product is in an innovative way by the way they're um providing the experience of doing it. So again, it's just I just a lot of
It's a lot of back and forth because you can go back like so if the market is or from what everybody says if the market gets oversaturated and everybody starts doing it this way then that makes nobody an entrepreneur that jumps into this business. It's all gonna be because we're all gonna be doing it. You know what I mean? If they're everybody that gets into a certain way.
Mhm.
So it's up for debate, guys. What's not?
What we doing here? Y'all finances all celibate and shit?
Well, after
about
this,
no for sure. Bitch, y'all don't know yet?
After this, you done told me that story about. We just
I
gonna
know,
say,
yeah, like,
we just
you
gonna say
fucked
his
me
name
up.
was Brian. After the story about Brian, bitch, any nigga I meet next,
Oh
we say
my
we gonna be like,
God.
Brian can fuck. So
No,
what?
no, literally, Brian can fuck. And if you ain't coming
You're
like Brian,
they gonna be like, who the fuck is Brian?
Listen, yeah,
That's pretty much where I got it from. Hilarious, and it's shouts out to B Simone and Megan on their Know For Sure podcast. It's a hilarious podcast. But yeah, standards. Can we talk about it? Men and women standards here. Brian So Brian set a standard. I don't know why the fuck he has the shirt on, but he set a standard. As you can hear from their podcast, if you want to check, whatever. Anyway, and so I'm gonna say men and women standards. That's this topic of hand. From Brian. Brian's bar is high.
And it's almost what we were talking about last week in regards to being in your head during sex, and just like how I was sitting there, and I alluded to the fact that sometimes, because again, if you listen to the podcast, which the only podcast of theirs I've listened to, not saying it's a terrible podcast, just not my skilo, but it was a hilarious one, it really was, but what they were talking about is how like basically like Brian came correct. Clearly, Brian isn't the name. Brian was just pulled out the air and used.
That's a hypothetical name.
But basically,
But if
like, it's not so much like, well, I guess like they were talking about dick game was proper, but it was more or less how he presented the dick game, how he set it up, how he had the Amarion sex playlist going.
That's not what she said. That's not what she said.
She definitely said the sex playlist was.
She said it, but dang, she didn't say it was the Amarion sex playlist. He said it was 90s. Keep going. You see? That's exactly standards. Standards, women. Standards. Go ahead. But shouts out to, that's actually a good song though. He would know because I hit you to the song. What the fuck? Go ahead. Continue.
Anyways, basically, as she was alluding to with the whole standards, as far as like us men, we do gotta come, but at the same time, like women can't accept less, but we need to be better. And like they were sitting there saying, they had like, again, Brian can fuck with the whole point is like, yo, if you ain't coming like Brian, it ain't, you know what I mean? And really, we should, in general, all, after last week's episode,
He's been rethinking. You know,
took my Bible out, humbled myself, and realized
he has to come. Like, listen.
it's like
The
when
next one?
it's like when you're training Pokemon, you got to level up. My dick game got to level up.
That's what I told him. So, ma'am, when you, hopefully he passes. You know what I mean, and puts the Brian.
Right? I'm trying to come like Brian.
His name is Jeremy though, so we'll just leave it at that.
I go by many names, by the way.
I'm not. I'm just gonna go with.
We will.
Yep, Brian.
Because that's not who I. Jeremy's
I knew
not
who he was. I don't. You do not. Absolutely not say that name on this goddamn podcast. I will walk off the. I will knock this mic down. Okay. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. But that brought me back to. Bringing back to the Brian can fucking the standards and everything like that. That brings me to that one subject of would you marry somebody that you that didn't satisfy you sexually, and on how the women, a lot more women said yes, they would marry somebody that doesn't satisfy them sexually over the men. You dig what I'm saying? So you can't kind of be mad when you gonna settle for him regardless because he's a good man. I get it. But then don't be bitter, like I would said before. Like, don't be bitter and over here, like, mad because, you know, she getting Brian can fuck dick and you not. It's just, it's what you settle for. So, yeah.
And I agree. I agree. Because again, yeah, I'm wearing this as far as like, yo, it goes both ways. Like, yo, you should want to. You know, I almost wore a bracelet.
You hear what he said?
WWBD. What would Brian do? I just know the next experience I provide, like the rose petals are just going all over the room. You know what I mean? The candles are gonna be lit.
Hopefully he doesn't burn everything down with the rose
You
petals
know what I
flying like that
mean?
and the candles like this. That just sounds like a very firehouse night, and not in a good way. But
I'd be
yeah,
playing with wax that night.
okay. He don't even.
Oh my gosh. Listen, you are clearly
People do better. That's all I can say. Again,
right.
just raise your standards. Raise your standards.
But curious, don't you? Wouldn't you say? Because it goes both ways, but sometimes doesn't have to be. You have to be introduced. Like, okay, basically, a man's not gonna raise his standards on how he comes if
He don't know.
it's not even he don't know if he never has to. Like, if he
Oh
comes
no,
across a woman that demands him to raise his standards
absolutely.
and he's willing to meet the bar, you know what I mean? But then I think, but sometimes it's like, yo, you got to come across that to know that. Because the same thing with women, because women,
That's the whole thing.
I'm not gonna bring up the person we were talking
Shut up.
about, but
Shh. Oh, we should. We should.
I'm not gonna do it like that.
Wow. Not gonna do her, but you can name drop on me.
Oh no! That's not what I was talking about. You don't even know who I'm talking about.
I don't. Oh, it's only. It could be one of those.
Mind you, these ain't.
Yep.
Dang, you making it seem like these are all my hoes.
No.
I don't. I don't talk to nobody, but there are people in our
But you
lives.
talk to one. Okay, so I think that's more on the. We were talking about raising if a man doesn't.
And same thing for a woman. Same thing for a woman, because some women have low standards and they don't raise it till they meet the proper man to
A
want to
woman
raise
needs,
their standards.
Like, okay, how? In certain people's cases, certain women can't bring out. Certain women won't bring out certain sensitivity or certain things for.
You speak. Sensitivity.
Won't bring out certain things in a man, or if you. They don't necessarily ask the man to change, but he makes the effort to change for them because of the type. He knows what the type of woman she is and what she deserves, and he wants to be that man for her. And it's the same for a woman. Like, every woman can be submissive, or every woman is submissive for the right man. Every woman is the freak for the right man. You just have to be that
Like
right
every
man.
man's sensitive for the right woman.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
You know what
That's
I mean?
exactly what I'm saying. You know, we went over this before too. So yeah.
But that's what's like, yo, how much of that is a factor?
I don't know.
Because I say that because, like, sometimes you don't realize.
Somebody's not the right
you don't,
woman.
No, it's not even that. It's just sometimes you don't realize, you don't recognize areas of growth sometimes. Like, all right, you know what? Let's do some humble honesty here. She's talking about me with the whole sensitivity, you know, as far as I used to equate sensitivity with being thoughtful. As far as like, cause she used to
That was a big thing.
being insensitive, and I used to be like, in my mind, my thing would be like, yo, what you like? In my mind, I wouldn't like. I'm like, what you mean? I am being sensitive. I'm being considerate and thoughtful. You know what I mean? But like, that's not sensitivity, right? As of recently, I have
Go ahead.
pulled that sensitive side out of me.
Yes.
Blew the dust off or something, or you know what I mean? Not realizing like, yo, there is a difference. You know what I mean? They aren't the same thing.
Why did you pull that out? Okay, keep going. Let's keep going. Let's stay focused on the subject. Let's do that.
Because I want to be the best man that I can be for my next wife, and I just got to do the necessary work. Nah, but nonetheless, it wasn't something like I didn't recognize, but I also know another female that we were speaking about. I won't say their name. We've been commented that until she do better, she's not gonna get better. She's not gonna attract anything but what she's been attracting.
That could be who. Yeah, that's a few. Like I don't.
We're back. Now that can't tiptoe around that one. Got to just tell her.
I'm sorry.
No, but
I
no.
was
In all honesty, like she's now on her. Got to do whatever. Like she's trying to rate because she feels like the bar has been raised on how she can come. So I think it goes both ways. You know what I mean?
You don't know better. If you know
And
better,
if you don't,
do better.
yeah, exactly. So now that you know, like like I said, I didn't recognize until it was like, oh, and I felt like, damn, bro, we really about to get into like, I was about to say that, but I guess I started saying like, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like shit, like recognizing that like,
You've been insensitive to a lot of people.
no, not a lot of people, just one person, just one person,
a lot of people,
just one person.
Is it for 15 years of insensitivity? Just
longer.
See, even longer. You see what I'm saying? So, again, whack dick insensitivity. You guys see why we got divorced. You see, are you seeing the reasons here, guys? I'm just saying, wow. I can't, like, come on. You can't give.
I know what y'all are thinking. Yes. Tongue game must have been amazing. They say life and death reside on on your tongue. So does a marriage.
I'm not doing this with y'all. All right. So yeah, that's what it is. Sensitivity.
You know.
So that's
like case in point. You know what I mean? So, just in general. How would you raise your standards if you don't know better, though? I think you just have to have a growth mindset.
No.
But no?
No.
Yeah, true.
No, that's never happened.
I have a growth mindset, and I still wasn't thinking about insensitivity. Or being sensitivity.
Heartbreak. Or something you want you can't get.
Oh my gosh, the subliminals.
I'm just saying what I'm saying. He asked the question, I'm answering the question. Something you want you can't get. A heartbreak is usually the stumping ground or the foundation of changing somebody to level up. You know what I'm saying? It can go either way. It don't always end in a level up, but when you see something you want or see somebody you want leveling up and doing, you be like, oh, let me get my. So yeah.
I mean, I ain't got nothing to add. Like, I asked the question because, like, again, it's sad that.
But I will say, because in the defense of men, we don't. If you listen to that podcast, we don't be knowing what satisfies us. Like, we don't even explore our bodies ourselves to know, to direct him to do what he needs to do. As we said, in previous podcasts, well, like, if you don't know, how you gonna tell? How you can't get mad at him for not knowing if you don't know? You know what I mean?
Or even that there are better men out there to demand better from him. Not only sexually, but just to demand better.
Okay.
That's not.
You that there's better men out there to demand better. Okay.
Yeah, no, because I do believe like y'all.
It's better people out. You think?
I just believe. Listen. It's going to the fact that women do settle. I'm agreeing with the fact that women settle, but it's like, why? Like, I hate the fact that women have to settle, or are settling when it's like, yo, mama, just demand more from your men. You know what I mean? Or like, yo, because there are some times where I just feel like niggas, we turn it in like C's and D's, but we're doing it because we're passing on to the next level. Like I'm gonna continue doing C's and D's if it's gonna get me from 8th grade to ninth to 10th to 11. Because C's and D's have gotten me by, but at some point in time, there are some women that it's like, nah, nigga, A's and B's, so you got to get into study hall.
So this goes it's kind of on subject and it's kind of off subject, but it correlates. So do you think it's because in a lot of women's mind also is that we've fall into a trap of, well, he should know.
That's a trap. Why do you think a man should know anything? It's beyond me.
Do you think you have to, I don't want to say teach, but everybody has to learn their new partner, or their partner.
In regards to love languages,
Exactly.
and then just also
but
tendencies and shit.
Do you think that they should, after you laid out, all right, this is my love language, this is what I like, blah, 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 that they should be able to, properly work with, and satisfy you with what you put out there, or should you have to literally walk them through it? Step by step.
I think it's.
I need you to stroke it like this. I need you to put your tongue here. What, like, that's so.
I look at it like, it's a willingness, cause. Again, I feel like we have no problem sitting there saying certain things. Cause we'll sit there and say, it's like, of course, we'll make certain comments about play with the tip a little bit more, or do stuff like. So I think it's like, there's no problem with letting them know or directing them, but I also think if they're unwilling, if you feel like you got to continue to repeat yourself, then he's not willing to do it. Just and vice versa, she's not willing to do it. So your satisfaction isn't top of mind with them. So I do believe, like, and then even outside of the sexual regards, how willing are they to compromise or change or?
Guys,
We're back. We're back from our nonsense.
I can't.
I don't know what y'all saw. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what y'all saw. How this gets edited.
I gotta pee. That's what I gotta say about this whole podcast here.
In general, listen. Let's raise our standards. Let's just do better. Not just for
Be Brian, guys.
and women, y'all should want Brian. It's not just like
if it's a Brian out there.
Y'all are settling for Bree. Y'all are settling for your B. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting the whole Brian experience. BRIA. They are settling for Bree. Brianna? Bree.
See, he just makes it so terrible. Like, God.
What?
Dang. It makes it so like
it's late. It's past my bedtime.
I'm gone. That's it. Let's do this. Is that not good enough?
That was so weak. Okay. It's good. It's cool.
No, we're gonna try it again because he just said it.